Hello everyone, my name is Pavan Choudary. I would like to speak to you about a new formula for comprehensive, clear and compelling communication. Before I come to this formula, let me share what does it build on. It builds on McKinsey's formula of communication, MECE, MECE, which means mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. I'll explain the meaning in a moment. This framework has been used for structured thinking and communication by leading consultants, journalists, marketing professionals, and other peer groups for more than 5 decades. This concept of MECE was brought into the world by Barbara Minto, who worked at McKinsey in the 1960s and 1970s. She was the first female MBA hired by McKinsey. So McKinsey's approach towards diversity and inclusion has paid off so well because MECE itself has become so popular. After being hired at McKinsey, she noticed that people struggle to think and communicate comprehensively and coherently. So she devised a framework for clear and comprehensive communication and coined this acronym MECE, mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Mutually exclusive means distinctly separate, non-repetitive, non-overlapping. Collectively exhaustive means all the points which should be taken into account are there. Every consultant worth his coffee, every top consultant worth his coffee knows about MECE now. I have also used it for many years. Notwithstanding its usefulness, I felt that it is a vital ingredient for communication, but it is not the entire recipe. It is not a comprehensive tool for clear and compelling and comprehensive communication. So I propose MECE 5E. I augment MECE to MECE 5E. I have made this augmentation connecting the dots from my study and learnings. I make no claims to originality. In fact, Barbara Minto also did not make any claim to originality. She said, this concept has been followed or discovered by Aristotle. She named it. I am adding to that vital ingredient of MECE 4 more C's. Seeing further because you stand on the shoulders of giants is the nature of this creativity. So the first C in MECE 5, E, is consumed by collectively exhaustive. Let us come to the second C, which is code of language. Let me take the help of another pioneer, Basil Bernstein, to explain to you what is this code of language. I use his research, but I use his research in a limited sense and add to it my own humble learnings to explain to you what I mean by code of language. As per Bernstein, there are 2 codes of language. restricted code and elaborate code. Restricted code is imprecise, assumes shared learning, and may often be inaccurate. Elaborate code, on the other hand, is precise, well laid out, explicit, and can stand firm on its own. Basil Bernstein says that this is how the language is divided on how it is used by people. For example, for speaking of high corruption in bureaucracy, a person who speaks in restricted code would blurt out, "All bureaucrats are corrupt." An elaborate code speaker would say, "The instances of corruption seem higher in bureaucracy than in other professions." Note how the words in elaborate code are used to qualify. Note also that the restricted code speaker might have to retract his statement very soon, because surely there are some non-corrupt, honest bureaucrats also. Whereas the elaborate code speaker can hold on to his statement. Elaborate code is accurate and responsible. Bernstein says that he finds a greater preponderance of elaborate code in the higher classes. I have found that elaborate code is also a ticket to the higher classes. This variation in how language is used is a key to power and success, which doesn't mean that every powerful and successful or rich person speaks in the elaborate code. You find many elites who speak imprecisely, but they also understand the importance of exactness in language. C3, cluster. Cluster stands for grouping of similar concepts and ideas or information together. C4, cascade. Cascade stands for sequencing the flow of points where one logically leads into another. This rhythm makes it easy for people to understand your points as well as to remember them. Together, clustering and cascading allows you to tie up the entire communication in a meaningful way and make it fit well together. C5, concise. Concise stands for avoiding unnecessary words, digressions, details. The communication should be concise and should get to the point quickly and effectively. Brevity, they say, is the soul of wit. Brevity is also the soul of beauty. And in fact, brevity is also the soul of character. Because through brevity and character, you are actually showing to the other person that you are concerned for his time. You will not misuse or waste his time through a long communication, where a short one can do. So let me stop here, following my own advice, and offer you this very powerful tool for communication, MECE 5E.